Bangkok may be 800 miles from the earthquake's epicenter, yet the tremors were still devastating. This building was under construction.
The whole building collapsed.
The crane atop the structure coming down along with 30 stories, sending clouds of dust through the streets and people running. 8 people are dead, with more than 100 missing. If this was the scene in Bangkok, what of the scale of destruction in Myanmar, where the earthquake originated? It was here in Mandalay, the city closest to the epicenter, that the quake was first felt after midday. At the city's airport, the sirens ringing, the people crouching, before being ushered away from the main building. News only slowly emerged through the day in a nation ruled by a military junta amid a civil war, and where the media is tightly controlled. As state-run TV announced a state of emergency in multiple regions, they initially offered only images of broken glass and smashed pots. Yet this was an earthquake similar in strength to the Turkish one in 2023 that killed tens of thousands. And so these are the scenes that tell a clearer story. In Neighbouring, a woman and child lay trapped, their cries broken by the slow work of a chisel. In Mandalay, the bridge that once spanned the Irrawaddy River now runs into the water below. Elsewhere in the city, Buddhist monks looked on in shock. As a multi-story building shrunk from view. With military TV now showing the scenes in the junta's capital, Naypyidaw, authorities made the rare request for international help. Previously, such as during a cyclone 2 years ago, they were criticized for restricting aid to regions affected. But with more than 100 reported dead and over 700 injured, the junta's call for assistance perhaps points to a realization about just how high the death toll could climb. The US Geological Survey said there could be thousands of fatalities, as this was a shallow quake along a vast rupture line. Its force felt far and wide, not least in Bangkok, where it caused chaos. People ran from high-rise apartments and offices. The quake and its aftershocks causing a skyscraper waterfall as a rooftop pool was emptied onto the street far below.
I didn't realise it was an earthquake at first, but then I saw the table shaking, and the chair and computer swaying too. I knew for sure when I heard the noise of the cracking walls and glass. Part of the ceiling even collapsed. That's when I had to run.
The search for survivors at the construction site continues. The Thai Prime Minister visited the area this evening, as she emphasised that the only structures destroyed were those being built, not those completed. Not so in Myanmar, where the buildings are of far poorer quality, and where the full scale of this tragedy is still not yet known. A natural disaster that could not have come at a worse time for this war-torn nation.
Kieran Woodley reporting. Well, earlier I spoke to Heidi Jakob, an aid worker for Plan International, who is in Yangon in the south of Myanmar. I started by asking him about the situation.
Situation in Myanmar, especially in Mandalay, due to this earthquake, is not good at all. It is getting from bad to worse. There are lots of people who are in dire need. Their buildings have come down. There are people who are in trauma. They're leaving their houses, going else to other places. So everything is happening at the same time on top of whatever was happening in Myanmar. So this is add-on on already protracted crisis which were taking place in this country.
And give us some idea of the city of Mandalay. Were there lots of high-rise buildings that might have collapsed? What was the infrastructure like?
Mandalay is a mixture of both old and new buildings, but old buildings are more, new buildings are less. They are not very high, tall buildings as you get to see in Yangon or in Bangkok. The damage is more to the older buildings, which were about like 20, 30, 40 years old buildings. But Mandalay has a lot of older buildings because it was an older capital of Myanmar. So there are historical buildings which also got impacted because of this.
And are we getting any ideas of the numbers of casualties?
The numbers reported by the government are 144 at this point in time. The death and injured are in 700s and some. So, but these are very conservative numbers. These are the ones which I think the bodies have been identified and they know that these deaths have taken place. But all the people who are maybe under the rubble at this point in time, their number cannot be ascertained. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have a better information about it. We don't feel that the numbers will stay at this. They are likely to grow because what we get to hear from my colleagues who are in Mandalay, that there are lots of people who got killed because they were in prayer at that time and the mosque roof fell on top of them. So I don't know that is included in this or they are not. So there's lot of ifs and buts in this time. The communication between Myanmar and Mandalay is not working well. In fact, it's not working at all. We tried to get in touch with our contact persons in Naypyidaw. We could not get in touch with them. We'll try to make contact with them tomorrow as well. But the situation, I think, will more unfold over the night and tomorrow in the morning.
Right. The regime in Myanmar is notoriously quite secretive. Do you get the impression that they are coping with this crisis? Because they've also issued, rather unusually, a call for international help, haven't they?
This particular time, they've been more proactive. The last time when it happened, they asked, okay, if you want to help, give it to us and we will go and help. This time, we don't know what would be the modalities. We would find out the modalities, how they would want to respond to these crises. But I'm hopeful that because the magnitude of problem and the geography is much larger than the last time, so they will be more open.
Haider Yaqub, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. Bye-bye.